From the day Adelaide Anderson was diagnosed, it took 3 years, 2 months, 1 week and 4 days for her to die. She was 36. Adelaide had told her husband and sister she would haunt them if she had the chance. She had said this sitting in the overcrowded phlebotomy waiting room immediately after the news that her condition was possibly terminal. The consultant, Dr. Wells, had said it would be difficult for Adelaide to think of anything but the worst-case scenario, but she should nonetheless focus on the fact that the outcome wasn't certain. After her declaration to become a ghost, her sister had given a nervous half-laugh and said that she didn't want Adelaide to do anything to scare her. Adelaide had agreed, but said she'd move things around her home just to confuse her, and laughed too. Her husband, Simon, had told her not to be morbid and reminded her that the consultant wasn't sure. It was possible she might live. Everything in the house was a perfect reproduction of her family home, alike enough to have been the actual house. As she walked from room to room, alternately calling for her sister, brother and parents, Hector, her pet cat, began following her. Relieved at his company, she knelt down and stroked his head. He purred under her touch. It seemed so natural to bend down, but it had been a long time since she'd been able to move. Luxuriating in her actions, she ran her hand over his body. Hector had been dead for at least 10 years. She'd been devastated at the time. Nothing was clear to her about how she came to be in the house or why. She had no memory of entering. Calling for her family was a vain hope. She knew she was alone. They were not dead. Adelaide had spent the week following her consultant's appointment panicking, crying and screaming as if the pain were physical. Unable to calm herself, she'd stand in the kitchen, attempting to draw breath and clasping onto her sister's arms to steady herself. She couldn't be alone. Alarmed at her behaviour, Imogen tried to soothe her. "They have to tell you the worst-case scenario, Aid, to be sure, to cover themselves." Adelaide shook her head with frantic movements, denying that was the case. "You were there. You saw how serious she was." And the panic would start again, with Adelaide repeating, "I can't believe it! I can't believe it! I can't believe it!" She couldn't eat for fear that being unable to swallow would confirm the diagnosis. At night she clung onto Simon, crying as he reassured her. "Let's just take one day at a time." He'd lure her to sleep, only for her to jolt awake at the remembrance of her situation, and she would cry again. This process continued for weeks, until the idea of dying settled on her like a toxic dust. Death became part of her normal, everyday thoughts, and panic was reduced to regular intervals. Although the house was her family home, it contained none of the paraphernalia of human life. It was unnaturally clean. Every surface was clear. The usual piles of paperwork were absent, and the jumbled drawers of junk collected, as things we might need in the future, were tidy. No shoes loitered at the bottom of the stairs. It was like a show home. Her bedroom still had the bunk beds she had shared with Imogen, but the top bed was made with such precision not a crease was visible on the duvet. Her cosmetics and toiletries were laid out in rows on her dressing table, and her wardrobe was full of clothes that hung one item to a hanger. She sat on her bed and beckoned Hector to come and sit with her. When she'd shared a room with her sister, she'd tried any amount of nagging, violence or bribery to get Imogen to leave her things as she wanted them, but now the neatness felt cold. Her sister should bounce through the door, climb onto her bed and demand to wear Adelaide's new top, just because she felt entitled to it.